jump start to everything. Let's take you first through all of the stories we have lined up through the rest of the day. Okay, first up, as we promised, in the Diwali fashion frenzy, you hear there are all these trends to be discussed, and whether or not any of that is worth paying attention to. How you can use the clothes you have at home, reuse them, mix and match pieces, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, how you can refresh your wardrobe, stay away from the boring. We bring you all of that. Discover personal style with designer Didi. We have her right here on the show. We'll join her in just a few minutes. And that question, कब है दिवाली? बहुत confusion थी. Remember, there was confusion around the exact date. That question answered with top astrologer Pavan Sinha's guide to Diwali. He spoke to our colleague Anand Narsimhan and the Diwali dilemma, what date it's falling on and why it's falling on that date. All of that we're discussing right here on the show. And then on to worshipping our stomachs. What is Diwali without that delicious, delicious treat at the end of it? We have some Malpua magic coming on the show, ladies and gentlemen. India's beloved dessert. We're going to master the art of how to make a Malpua. Sweet, sweet celebrations with Hema Subramanian. She's joining us from the home cooking show. We are one day away from Dhanteras. We're checking in with the gold prices. They're hitting an all-time high. Is it time to invest? Gold and silver, they're shining among continuing global uncertainty. But what does that mean for you if you're someone who's just taken your first few steps into investing? If you want to get to know the how, the where, Manisha Gupta is joining us with a breakdown. And after that, what would TBC be without a little bit of celebration? We're bringing you the lowdown on the big Diwali bashes that have taken place. In particular, we're looking at Manish Malhotra's Bollywood bash as Bollywood's biggest names came out to celebrate Diwali. So we're looking at Rekha, we're looking at Kajol, Alia Bhatt, multiple generations uniting. We're also bringing you the style lowdown, what each of these gorgeous ladies chose to wear, what the men chose to wear. We have all of that right here on the show. But first up, as we promised, it is the end of October, which means we've been talking a lot about Diwali, but it also means the festive season in general is in full swing. Every day on the show, we've been bringing you a lowdown on one aspect of Diwali. So whether it is taking care of your house, sustainable gifting, today on the show, we're going to be talking a little bit about a very, very important factor, how you can dress. This morning, we thought we'd help you tackle something we just don't talk about enough. The difficulty of arranging your entire wardrobe for every single event that you have coming up in the next few days. If you're a man who doesn't want to wear a plain kurta once again, that same kurta that you're recycling again and again, or a woman who wants to add a fresh twist to her wardrobe, today's show is for you. We're going beyond just the surface of fashion. It's not just about, we're not going to be focusing too much on trends. So what's in style. What we're instead going to be looking at, what's a good fit for you, what feels good for you. And maybe we're even going to add a little extra meaning to the occasion with how you can reuse your clothes. Because the really magical part about what we're going to do right here on the show is we're going to show you how to do all of this without pushing you to go shopping, ladies and gentlemen. Ever so often you hear about that very creative person who's gone viral because they've used either their wedding sari or an old brocade dupatta in a creative manner. Something they had lying around the house, they've taken it, they've refreshed it. And while it always sounds cool, we thought here on the show today, we wanted to tell you how you could do that at home. So whether it's reimagining an old sari you have lying around, putting a modern spin on a lehenga, or using your kurta that you wear at every event but using it slightly differently, we're here to help you feel your best on the show today. Joining us live this morning is Shivangi Lahote, aka Designer Didi. She's the founder of Designer Shala, and she is a designer by education. She's a design educator to a content creator. She deals with audiences every single day. We thought we'd go over to her to to ask her about how you can do all of this. So we're focusing on sustainability. We're focusing on reusing what you have lying around. Let's go to Shivangi to understand more. Shivangi, good morning. So lovely to join you on the show just a few days before Diwali comes around. Shivangi, tell us, first up, we hear about Diwali trends. Let's step away from that and let's just ask you, before we get into any of that, what's your advice to our audiences? So give us first, if someone says, Shivangi, I don't know what my personal style is. Personal style hai bhi kya? What does that word even mean? What would you tell someone who doesn't think they're stylish, who doesn't like dressing, but someone who you would want to encourage, ki take a first step? What would you tell them?
Thank you so much for having me, Festoya. It's such a pleasure. Now, when it comes to your personal style, my number one advice to anyone just starting out is that rather than looking outward and chasing trends, which is never ending, by the way, look inward and figure out what are things you're naturally drawn towards. And maybe we can start from there. Look through your closet and do a closet audit. Figure out, why do you love certain pieces more than the others? You will slowly start seeing a pattern emerge, and maybe it's the fit, maybe it's how it sits on your body, maybe it's the color of the outfit, or maybe the comfort it provides you. And when you identify these small details, it helps you sort of uncover elements that can make you feel confident and are naturally, to you. After you've done this exercise, a good idea is to actually analyze what's your body type like. For example, are you pear-shaped or do you have an hourglass figure? Are you petite or tall? Say you're petite. So I would suggest go for straight cut tailored kurtas that will add length to your frame. Wear high-waisted bottoms if you're wearing crop tops and show more of your neck with U-necks and V-necks. Avoid overly bulky layers that might overwhelm your proportions. Heels or pointed shoes can also give you a longer, leaner look. Right? Another thing that I see a lot of people do is become absolute slaves to trends and brands and shop mindlessly and endlessly. My advice for the festive season is experiment slowly rather than jumping on every single trend, because it's going to hurt your pocket. And with gold prices inflating, I'd rather say stick to what you have. And very honestly, the chances are you may already have something in your wardrobe which can be reused or repurposed.
Shivangi, just tell us, before you go ahead, you used a phrase right now. You said apple-shaped or pear-shaped when you were describing body types. And a lot of Indian women are pear-shaped. But what does that actually mean? Just tell our audiences so that they know,
Of course. So, for example, I am pear-shaped. When you look at the shape of a pear, you see that the upper part of it is tiny and the lower part is broader. Essentially, that's what a pear-shaped proportion is. Your bust, you're not as busty, so your bust is smaller. However, your hips and your thighs and your lower part of the body is bigger. You have to wear clothes that actually accentuate and balance your proportions, make you look balanced on your upper body as as flaunt those curves, girls.
I love that. Okay, so tell us now a little bit about, let's get straight into it. Mixing and matching outfits, it can often be so scary because, in your head, you don't think that, okay, this color, say I have a light blue blouse and light blue lehenga. How could I rematch that? What colors could I rematch that with? What other old clothes and what colors should I be looking for in my wardrobe that could go well with that blue? Just tell our audiences, what are your basics, your guides for when one is trying to reuse all the old things in their wardrobe, match old patterns, match old outfits?
All right, so I'll tell you what, ladies, everything that you need is already in your closet, and I can't stress enough about it. And if it's not in your closet, it's probably lying in your sister's closet or your mom's closet, right? Now, most Indian bridal outfits are gold, right? So that's one color we know for a fact is going to be in our wardrobe. For at least one of the events, you must have worn gold in, your wedding. Reuse them. Right? Use your shadi's lehenga dupatta with maybe a monochrome silk kurta, and monochrome here is the key word. When you go with something subdued and monochromatic, it just helps you jazz up.
Monochrome means one color, right, Shivangi?
So shades of one color. So hues of one color, shades of one color. So think of it as an ivory kurta and an ivory trousers to go with it. Or maybe an emerald green kurta with an emerald green, set of palazzo pants. It could also be like a fuchsia pink lehenga with a fuchsia pink blouse. The idea is when you keep your base sort of very subtle, you can play with your accessories, you can play with your shadi lehenga dupatta, you could pick up a banarasi from your mom's wardrobe and jazz it up. And that is basically the foundation that you can use to build any outfit. And if you wear a solid kurta with silver junk jewelry, you get a completely different effect as compared to if you're wearing it with gold. I am always reusing and restyling my existing pieces.
So tell our audiences right there, you just said, that you're always restyling. And I feel like people like you, so what I mean is people who've made this their profession, they have all sorts of hacks. Something that I learned over the years while anchoring was to use plastic. So what I mean when I say that is reuse plastic. For example, something I've seen people use is fake gajras. On Amazon, you can get them for, 200 rupees, 300 rupees. And you can re-wear that gajra. It looks like a real gajra. It makes your outfit stand out. And you can reuse that one thing through events for years. Do you have little hacks like that you use?
Of course I do. I have like a bag full of them. But I'll tell you what, while accessories can really amp up your looks, I feel like draping your clothes is so underrated. And if you creatively drape your clothes, you don't even have to spend that 200, 300 rupees to go buy gajras from Amazon. You can literally just breathe fresh life into your existing outfits. One of the things that I personally love doing is draping my saris differently each time that I'm wearing them and teaming them up with not regular blouses, but with sort of t-shirts and crop tops and shirts and styling it differently. If you want one for draping, I have a big hack for you. Just get a pre-draped sari. Most brands today are very, very welcoming and open to sort of customizing your sari in a pre-draped form. And if they're not doing it, or if you have an old sari lying around, make your local tailor your best friend, go to him and get it done from them. Trust me, this hack is for the books. You should be taking notes.
Tell us one more thing, Shivangi. Right now, we've talked a lot, maybe deliberately, maybe not so deliberately, about women. And I want to ask you, there are a lot of men watching us right now. And some of those men, in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. I know a lot of the men around me, they often feel like, let's pull out that one kurta, it's working for us. But then they have a hidden desire to do something a little more stylish. And I just want to ask you there, it can be daunting if you haven't been someone who looks at fashion magazines, who follows common style. It's hard to know कि trend में क्या है. So what is your suggestion for the men who are watching, the older men in particular? How can they add a little twist, just a little flair to what they do?
Okay, so if you're just getting started on your styling journey, I would suggest take it slow. But I have a 4-step framework that I'd really like for you to focus on. It's called SCAT. So it's silhouette, color, textures and accessories. All right. Now, when we talk about silhouettes, I would like for you to sort of go out there, introduce traditional silhouettes like achkans, bandkalas and pathanis in your vocabulary. If you're short, maybe a monochromatic short kurta with trousers and a hand-woven beautiful bandkala with subtle embroidery would look timeless and effortless. If you're somebody who's tall, I would suggest maybe go for a chikankari pathani salwar in darker hues like a midnight blue, like browns or ink black, and that may still look understated but luxurious. When it comes to colors, I think brighter colors need to be really out of your vocabulary, especially if you're a man in your 40s and 50s.
Why?
I'm not saying like get them completely out, but the neons and the greens need to go. Right? I would recommend more subdued, mature tones of the same jewel tones. Go ahead and wear that blue, but maybe in a navy. Maybe something that looks a little more real, a little more royal and also a little more regal, right? And when it comes to accessories, I see lots of men want to wear accessories, but they put like really little effort into styling their looks. And I feel like accessories can really make or break your look. So mojiris and loafers instead of sneakers is an obvious choice, right? And honestly, the bare minimum that you can do, so go ahead and do that. Wear a classic gold or a silver timeless watch, right? Accentuate your look with gemstones as, kurta buttons. These are small little details that you can add to your outfit to jazz it up, but not too much, and be age appropriate as well. When it comes to textures, I feel fabrics help create so much texture in your looks. Whether it's pin tucks, whether it's embroidery, textiles, each of them help create a lot of layers and also visually break a plain surface. So when it comes to textiles, I'll suggest go for silks, jamawars, handloom mikkuts, chikankaris, velvets. I am a sucker for textiles, and I feel like our Indian traditional handloom textiles are just so gorgeous and so beautiful, and we need more men wearing them. So go and use the SCAT framework and let me know if it works for you.
Something really fun that we do sometimes is we cut our old kurtas, our old chunnis, take the material it's made of and turn it into a handkerchief for men, because that pop of color in even a black suit or a grey suit really, really looks lovely. Tell us something. You know, around Diwali season, wedding season, especially in cities like Delhi, the look that you see people wear it looks expensive. You know, it looks like you'll have women, men stepping out in clothes that have cost them lakhs. And I'm not saying that's the truth of it. I'm saying everyone manages to look expensive. I just want to ask you, if you don't have the budget to shell out for a whole new outfit for an event, what are Shivangi's cheaper ways of going about it? What are your cheat sheets of sort? Are there fabrics? Are there styles one can use to look like you're expensive, but you know, you haven't actually spent that money?
All right, I think that's such a great question, and that's like $1 million question, right? How do you look expensive without spending a bomb? But to be honest, I feel there are multiple ways to do it. One of the easiest ways for you, especially if you are living in a tier 1 city, is you can rent it. There are so many Indian wear rental spaces today popping up. Are renting out their garments, and it's such a sustainable approach to being fashionable, but at the same time sort of not spending a bomb, right? But I do understand that this concept is still prevalent only in tier 1 cities. So tier 2 cities can take my second advice, and that is recreate outfits from scratch. I know, but banayega kaun? And your local tailor here is your best friend. And I agree, while it's difficult explaining things to them initially, if you're patient enough, you'll end up not just with a great outfit, but also a skilled team member to put your vision to reality every time you want to look like $1 million. And also, I have some spaces in Mumbai. If you're local from Bombay, I can help you with a few places where you could find really some great cheap deals in terms of fabrics. I personally love the other Hindmata market, the Mangaldas market, which are like absolutely the OG kapda market in Mumbai. If you're looking at jewelry and you want to amp up your jewelry, because of course, itna asli jewelry kaun kharidega, right? So Bhuleshwar, Zaveri Bazaar, Goregaon are literally the hub for imitation jewelry. A lot of these stores actually have such good Jadao and Kundan and temple jewelry that it almost feels like it's real gold at first glance. And if you personally ask me, I love Amrapali. As a brand, I have been advocating them for I think over a decade now. And I personally feel it's so great because they have a lifetime warranty. If anything damages, they give it back to me, they fix it up, they polish it. And it's such a great investment when you look at it in the long term, right? So these are some of my hacks that I personally use as a designer. And yeah, what are you if not a Jugaadu designer?
Wait, so I want to ask you, a little earlier, you talked about the fact that there are now lots of places in cities like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, where you can go and you can actually rent out an outfit. And I just want to ask you, like that, there are new platforms opening everywhere. Even for Instagram shopping these days, there are so many new, like constantly, for example, if I were to open my Instagram right now, because it's Diwali season, you'll see brand after brand after brand. And I want to ask you this. Sometimes you place an order, but what you get is very different from what you thought you were going in for. What are your tips for making sure that the thing you're buying, because sometimes, you know, you've put so much money, say you've spent 5,000 rupees on a new blouse, and the blouse actually comes, even if that place says you can return it, sometimes that process is so tiring that one doesn't end up actually returning it. So what is your set of tips? That's what I want to know for finding a place, knowing it's trustable before you actually order online.
All right. To be very honest, I'm a pro online shopper and I have like a step-by-step process.
Right.
So if I don't know the brand and I've never heard of them, I look for actual customer photographs and feedbacks. Everyone today can get paid influencers to be advertisement billboards for them. It's very easy to get swayed and lose your authenticity in today's world of social media. And I don't blame them, it's their business. But I personally feel that unless I see actual people wear it, I don't trust the brand.
Right.
I want to see the comment section. What does it look like? Do they have a highlight section for their customer feedback on Instagram? Does their tagged section have actual customer photos? Are the customers happy and tagging the brand and posting about it? I am usually also checking if the brand is offline or has done any pop-ups in my city, so that maybe for the first time, especially if it's anything above 5,000, I can actually go and check the product quality in person and then invest in them for like a bigger price point. I'm very detailed when it comes to online shopping, so I almost never have a return because of how much I read the description of the fabrics, the composition, the amount of questions I ask on WhatsApp. before I make the payment, I make it a point to know what my size is, if their body size and body measurements would
Right,
actually
that's so
match
important.
mine. Of course, because we end up buying something thinking it's a 34 chest, but in reality, it's actually a 36 with the margins, which sometimes newer brands very easily forget to mention. So it
Yeah.
becomes looser for you, right? And if the customer support is slow or they're not able to answer all my questions, it's a big red flag for me because अगर पहले ही नहीं respond कर रहे तो बाद में तो क्या ही करेंगे?
Okay, I love that, but I also love what you said earlier that you have to check your sizes because different brands have different sizes. You tend not to realize that. I just want to ask you, Shivangi, before we let you go, because you've given us so many helpful tips right now, but before you let us go, tell us this. What are your plans for Diwali? Are you reusing anything in your wardrobe?
I actually am, Toya. My husband's wedding safa was pure
Oh, I
tissue.
believe we are sharing that with our audiences. Photos. Okay, okay.
Yes, yes. So I'll actually be wearing my husband's wedding safa as a sari for Diwali this time, and I think it's such a great way. We've been married only for 2 years, so I feel like it's such a great way, and it's going to be a surprise for him. He'll see this here and realize that this is
Oh
happening.
no, we're so sorry to your husband for ruining that surprise. But yeah, yeah.
That's okay. I think he'll be happy. He's on national television. It's all right. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be re-wearing his safa that I've opened up and I've converted it into a sari, and I'm going to team it up with one of my mom's lehenga's blouse actually. So I've gotten her to courier the lehenga blouse that she wore for my wedding, and yeah, I'm Jugadu.
This is really, really cool though. So you've opened it up, I would assume, because it would have been crumpled because of the
Yes.
way in which the safa has been
Correct.
tied. And then
Correct.
you've done what you've done. That's so, so cool. Shivangi, you know, it's one thing to talk about all of this, but then to see someone actually do it in this cool a manner. And I love that we're showing those photos so our audiences can really see how that safa has been reused. Shivangi, thank you for joining us this morning. That's
Thank you so
designer Didi.
much.
She's joined us. And you can even on her page see, but even see other young designers like this who are spotlighting and reusing sustainable clothing in this manner. Okay, let's take you from this though. We're not done discussing Diwali. We're taking you to something slightly different. This year, as you already know, there was quite a bit of confusion on what day Diwali is falling on. Is it falling on the 31st, on the 1st? It's the festival of lights. We know it symbolizes the victory over darkness. But when is the date? That's what the confusion has been about. And we thought that in this time of spiritual reflection, in this time of family bonding on new beginnings, we should discuss a little bit more about how the date was finally decided and what the meaning of Diwali is. Joining us right here on the show is renowned astrologer Pawan Sinha. He spoke to our colleague Anand Narasimha and he dispelled all of this confusion. Take a look.
सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न यही है कि 2024 की दिवाली कब है? दिवाली कब है दिवाली? गब्बर सिंह का डायलॉग होली पर था, पर मैं ये प्रश्न जो है दिवाली पे पूछ रहा हूँ। और हमारे साथ टू आंसर दिस fundamental question which matters to all of us in this festive time is Professor Pawan Sinha, renowned astrologer and of course someone who I have deep respect for and the only person who I have been chasing to say कि आप ही हैं जो इस प्रश्न का सही उत्तर हमें दे सकते हैं और जो समस्या है उसका समाधान दे सकते हैं, तो आप ही हैं। तो नमस्ते पवन जी। तो लेट्स गेट इनटू दिस क्वेश्चन ओनली कि 29 को है, 30 को है, 31 को है या 1 तारीख को है? कहीं ना अभी तो अटकले हैं 31 और 1 के बीच में कब है? तो आप बताइए कि इस प्रश्न का उत्तर क्या है?
My final answer is it is on 1st of November क्योंकि 31 में ये सूर्योदय के बाद का समय है। हालांकि 31 को समय सबसे ज्यादा लंबा है, लेकिन वो मेन चीज है वो ये है सूर्योदय के समय की वो तिथि नहीं है। तो सूर्योदय 1st of November को जो होगा उसमें अमावस्या होगी और वह शाम तक रहेगी। तो इसलिए लोगों को दिवाली से संबंधित जितने भी काम है दे शुड डू इट ऑन 1st of November and let 1st November be the Diwali day.
तो पटाखे तो यहाँ अभी दिल्ली एनसीआर में बैंड है, लेकिन अगर देश भर में अगर पटाखे जलाने तो 31 की रात को, क्योंकि ये भी एक ये है कि विडंबना है कि 31 की रात को पटाखे जलाएं या 1 की रात को जलाएं।
दोनों दिन जला लीजिए, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं। क्योंकि देखिए पटाखे दिवाली का कोई सिंबल भी नहीं है। अब आईपीएल में भी पटाखे फूटते हैं अगर हम जीतते हैं तो
जी।
तो बहुत सारे ऐसे ओकेजन हैं, कोई मन की पार्टी जीत जाती है, मन का लीडर जीत जाता है तो हम पटाखे उड़ाते हैं। तो किसी की शादी होती है तो बाकी लोग तो छुटाते हैं उस बेचारे का जो हाल हो। लेकिन पटाखे दिवाली से कोई मतलब
संबंधित नहीं है, पर दिया जलाने का काम जो है, पूजा का जो, हाँ,
वो 1 नवंबर को करना है। घर में पूरी तरह जगमगाहट कीजिए, दीपक जलाइए, वो 1 नवंबर को कीजिए। प्रदोष काल का जो शाम की पूजा का समय है वो भी 1 नवंबर को ही है, तो उस समय पूजा कीजिए और अपने लिए सुख शांति स्वास्थ्य मांगिए।
तो ये जो, क्योंकि हमारा जो हिंदू संवत और हिंदू पंचांग है, इसको लूनी सोलार कैलेंडर कहते हैं, यानी कि सूर्य और चंद्र को मिलाकर कहा जाता है। तो कहीं ना कहीं ये बातें थी, मैंने कहीं पढ़ा, आप शायद मैं गलत हूं, कि मून राइज जो है, अमावस्या जो है, वो 31 को शाम से ही वो शुरू हो जा रही है एंड इट कंटिन्यूज अन टू फर्स्ट इवनिंग। क्या ये सही है? इसलिए ये कंफ्यूजन है इस बार ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है कि तिथियां 2-2 दिन आ रही हैं या एक दिन विपरीत होके आ रही हैं?
ये अक्सर होता है, ये अक्सर होता है क्योंकि हमारा कैलेंडर जो है वो रात 12 बजे से 12 बजे तक का नहीं होता, वो सूर्य और चंद्र दोनों के समन्वय से होता है। सो इफ ल्यूनर तिथि, ल्यूनर टाइम जो है वो सोलर टाइम में मैक्सिमम पार्टिसिपेशन करेगा, तो वो पर्टिकुलर दिन जो होगा, वो पर्टिकुलर समय जो होगा, वो फेस्टिवल मनाने का होगा। ये 1 नवंबर को पड़ रहा है, इसलिए हमें 1 नवंबर को बताना है। यद्यपि 31 को अमावस्या शुरू हो जाएगी, लेकिन पूजा शुरू नहीं होगी। पूजा का समय 1 नवंबर है।
अच्छा, तो 31 को अमावस्या की रात शुरू, क्योंकि वो कहते हैं कि अमावस्या की रात में ही दीप जलाने हैं, डार्केस्ट नाइट होता है। तो काली का जो पूजा है बंगाल में, वो अमावस की रात को करनी चाहिए। अयोध्या में दिवाली भी अमावस की रात को जली थी, तो इसीलिए ये कंफ्यूजन है। तो और अलग अलग देश के अलग अलग प्रांतों में आप भी जानते होंगे कि ये तिथि को अलग अलग तरीके से देखा जाता है, पंचांग को समझा जाता है। तो इज इट अ डिफरेंट टाइम फॉर दोज हु आर इन नॉर्थ इंडिया, जो दक्षिण भारत में, साउथ में है, और जो ईस्ट में है?
देखिए, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में अलग तरीके से दिवाली होती है, और जो नॉर्थ है, हिमाचल प्रदेश, कुल्लू मनाली, कुल्लू का दशहरा सब लोग जानते हैं, वहाँ पर दिवाली के पैटर्न्स थोड़े से डिफरेंट हैं। ये जो बेल्ट है 6-7 स्टेट्स की, यहाँ पर अलग पैटर्न है, और साउथ में एक अलग पैटर्न है। तो यहाँ पर हम लोग अमावस्या की रात में काली चौदस मनाते हैं। एक्चुअली वो चौदस के दिन होती है, अब यहाँ अमावस्या लग गया, तो ये काली चौदस इस बार 30 को होगी। जो श्री कृष्ण से संबंधित है, जो माँ काली से संबंधित है, वह 30 तारीख को है। और दिवाली के लिए हम दीपक जला सकते हैं 31 तारीख को, लेकिन जो पूजा का समय होगा वो हमको प्रदोष काल में मिलेगा, यानी शाम को जब सूर्यास्त हो जाएगा तो हमारा पूजा का समय शुरू होगा, और उस समय हमें पूजा करनी है। जो लक्ष्मी जी की उपासना है, ये उसी समय होनी है।
Okay, we've taken you to how you can style your wardrobe, style yourself without breaking the bank, without going for another outfit, and then we've taken you to the beautiful meaning of Diwali. Right now we're heading into a break. On the other side, थोड़ी पेट पूजा करते हैं. We'll discuss India's beloved dessert, tamal pua, and how to make it with Hema Subramanian.
At L'Oréal Group,
Believe me, if Donald Trump is president again, at some point or another, that ugliness will touch all of our lives. And it will not matter what you look like, how you worship, who you love, or how you vote. If you don't make 6 or 8 or 12 figures, if you're not famous, if you criticize or disagree with him in any way, if he doesn't view you as his equal or relevant to his ambitions, I promise you, he will not think about you when he gets into the Oval Office. Let me take a minute to help folks, especially the men in our lives, to get a better sense of what could happen if we keep dismantling parts of our reproductive care system piece by piece as Trump intends to do. There are good reasons why so many women and physicians are horrified by what's happened since Donald Trump's justices overturned Roe v. Wade. We're seeing women scrambling across state lines to get the care they need. Just this week, a major medical journal reported that after Roe was overturned, infant mortality in this country rose, in large part because women are being forced to carry fetuses that won't survive to term. One woman spent 22 days in jail on murder charges after she miscarried in her own bathroom. So just imagine the profound effects for all of us if Donald Trump wins this election. In states that are already putting abortion bans into effect, his FDA could further outlaw patchwork systems of telehealth appointments and mail-order pills, thereby eliminating the last remaining protections for women in those states. He could take actions that effectively ban abortion nationwide, which would put all of us in danger, no matter what state we live in. We will see more doctors hesitating or shying away from providing life-saving treatments because they are worried about being arrested. Please do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us, against our health, against our worth. It is reasonable to be frustrated. We all know we have a lot more work to do in this country. But to anyone out there thinking about sitting out this election or voting for Donald Trump or a third-party candidate in protest because you're fed up, let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage.
And I just have to say, I've known Michelle for years, and she is an inspiration. I know everybody here knows this. She is a truth teller, and she motivates us to get to work, especially when the stakes.
Let's take you now to stories that are taking place in India and also across the globe. Celebration time, as we told you, not just in India. Let's take a look first, though, at London. So we're taking you a few thousand of kilometers away in London. Many people packing into London's Trafalgar Square. You can see these visuals on Sunday for Diwali, celebrating it together. This is people of multiple denominations coming together in these celebrations. And from Diwali, we take you to Ali's at the Paris Games Week video game fair. As you can see, life-size video game manga and comic book characters as cosplayers. Cosplaying is a growing trend, remember, in which you dress up as a character. And this is visuals coming in live from France. Okay, and remember, Diwali is, as we've said, falling on 31st first, but as we speak, it's also the date for Halloween. More than 3,000 pumpkin lovers in northern Belgium grabbing the opportunity to paddle the giant hollowed out fruits. So they've actually taken pumpkins in some cases and rubber boats in other cases. All of this taking place right here in these visuals. This is a traditional annual race that takes place. It started in 2008 after local growers decided they needed to find a different use for their 400 plus kg pumpkins. And more Halloween celebrations. 40 pets showing off their spooky Halloween costumes. Are you afraid or do you find it cute? This is in Hong Kong on Sunday as they teamed up with their owners to compete for the best dressed title. A little poodle named Little Brother and his owner Nico Law got the best dressed. More Halloween, hundreds of participants dressing as zombies, various other characters taking over the streets of La Paz on Saturday for the annual Zombie Walk. Some of them dressed up as blood-drenched zombies, others as famous figures. That's US President Donald Trump, former US President, to werewolves, headless women, all on display. And speaking of presidents, singer Beyonce taking the stage at a rally for Vice President Kamala Harris. Remember, she is the Democratic nominee. As we speak, those visuals coming in from Friday night, she's accompanied by Destiny's Child member Kelly Rowland. They're both supporting Kamala Harris. That is Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mother. All of them coming out in support for Kamala Harris. Okay, let's take you from that now to some delicious recipes. As we dive into the festive season, taste buds craving traditional sweets, evoking the warmth, the love, the celebration that we associate with Diwali. So far on the show, we've kept a big focus on health. So we've told you, eat the sweets, but try to get healthy versions. We've talked a little bit, for example, about ragi versions, gluten-free versions. Today, we have a more traditional recipe for you. We're delighted to have back on the show Hema Subramaniam from the Home Cooking Show. Every day, she shows her millions and millions of followers how to make recipes, the twists you can do to make them more efficiently. Today, she's going to be showing us this classic Indian dessert, Malpua. She'll be showing you how to make this delicacy. It's often served, remember, at temples and households during Diwali and other festivals. It's a symphony, an absolute symphony of flavors and textures. Take a look at this delicious recipe.
I'm Hema Subramanian, and today on The Breakfast Club, I'm going to show you how to make these delicious malpuas. Now, normally malpuas are made with maida, that is all-purpose flour, but today we're going to make it with atta, that is wheat flour. So why wait? Let's get started and check it out. To a bowl, I've taken 1 cup of atta, that is wheat flour instead of maida. This is a 250 ml cup measurement. Next, add a 1/4 cup of semolina, that is suji rava. To this, I'm adding about a tablespoon of powdered sugar. Next, add half teaspoon of cardamom powder, half teaspoon of fennel powder, and give it all a nice mix. Next, I'm adding 2 cups of boiled and cooled milk. This is a 250 ml cup measurement. So in total, I'm adding about 500 ml of milk. After adding the milk, mix everything well. Using a whisk would be very convenient for this. After mixing, you can see that the batter is in a lovely pouring consistency. Let this sit for about 30 minutes. Next, we're going to make the sugar syrup. For this, to the saucepan, I'm adding 1.5 cups of sugar. Next, add about 1.5 cups of water. So this is a 1:1 ratio. Once the sugar dissolves and comes to a rolling boil, I'm adding a few saffron strands. So let this boil for about 5 minutes on medium flame. After 5 minutes, let's check on the sugar syrup. The sugar syrup should be a bit thick. It should just feel a bit thick, but it should not become too sticky or it should not have a string consistency. So the sugar syrup is done. Keep this aside. Here's a quick tip for you. In case the batter is too runny, after 30 minutes, you can just add about 1 or 2 tablespoons of wheat flour, that is atta, to give it a quick mix to get the right batter consistency. So our malpua batter is ready. Let's start making the malpuas. Next to the pan, add about a 1/4 cup of oil. Once the oil is hot, pour a ladle of the batter in the center of the pan. Maintain on a low throughout. Fry on one side for about 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, you can gently flip it to the other side. Using tongs to flip the malpuas will be very convenient. So you can see after I have flipped it, there is a nice golden ring there, a nice rich dark brown ring. This will give you a nice crispiness to the edges. Make sure you fry on both sides to get a lovely golden brown color. Once it's cooked, remove the malpua from the oil and keep it aside. Make these in batches of about 4 or 5. Once you've made the malpuas, gently drop them into the sugar syrup. Let this soak in the sugar syrup for at least a minimum of 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, you can remove them from the syrup and serve it immediately. There you go, you can see these lovely golden and delicious malpuas which are ready to be enjoyed. I'm just garnishing them with some chopped pistachios. They make for a perfect festive sweet recipe. I really enjoyed those malpuas. They were so tasty and so juicy. This is a great recipe that you can make for this Diwali. Make sure to follow all the steps to get it perfectly. So do try it and celebrate with your family and friends, and keep watching The Breakfast Club.
We'd actually have Hima joining us live this week to tell us all about what the most asked for recipes are, what her personal cooking hacks are like. But let's take you now into Diwali party season. You probably spent this weekend with family members, meeting them, because Diwali means the time to meet the ones you love. Right now, let's take you to a big celebration taking place in Mumbai. Bollywood's stars gathering together for the one big Diwali party that takes place every single year, no matter what happens. Renowned designer Money Matra's Diwali Bash. Take a look.
Manish Malhotra's yearly Diwali party always becomes the talk of the town, and this year was no different. Several high-profile B-town celebs made a beeline to attend the grandest celebration of all things fashion, glitz and glamour. And of course, we got oodles of fashion inspiration for the festive season from the fashionistas of Bollywood. So let's take a look. Sparkle, sparkle and more sparkle. That really set the mood this year. Kiara Advani wore a stunning embellished ensemble in gold and brown tones, which is quite an underrated color combo for the festive season. Even her outfit was quite unique, which featured a pallu made of embellishment strings that she paired with a velvet cropped corset blouse. Janhvi Kapoor arrived in a holographic sari paired with a matching blouse with a deep neckline. The hair, the jewelry, the makeup and everything else looked absolutely perfect. But it was Alia Bhatt who made a big statement this year by re-wearing her Mehendi ceremony lehenga set from 2022 at the designer's Diwali party, which made her the sustainable fashion queen once again. She paired this outfit with big earrings and skipped adding a dupatta. Fuss free, we must say. Shilpa Shetty opted for a mermaid-style sari in a vibrant teal hue that featured a sheer borders with embroidery detailing around the bust area. Kriti Sanon literally brought her sunshine energy to the bash in a bright yellow sari paired with a gorgeous blouse. While Tamanna Bhatia went OTT in a red embellished sari with a pretty V-neck blouse. The ever-elegant and graceful Rekhaji dazzled in an orange Kanjivaram sari paired with her signature traditional jewelry and gajra. For those of you who want to look like a diva, this should be your inspo. Among the Gen Z stars, Ananya Pandey went minimal yet chic in an ivory sheer sari. Khushi Kapoor added drama in a black sari with a unique pallu, and Suhana Khan looked stunning in red. Bride-to-be Shobhita Dhulipala also attended the gala, and the bridal glow was evident. Disha Patni and Shraddha Kapoor went for tissue saris, but somehow their looks could have been styled better. But they looked gorgeous nonetheless. Oh, and the B-Town men also served looks. We especially loved what Siddharth Malhotra and Kartik Aaryan wore to the party. Well, like we promised, we gave you oodles of content to take inspiration from. Now you tell us who slayed the most.
Bollywood stars also reusing their outfits. We're going to head into a quick break, but on the other side, how can you make investments this Diwali? We went over straight to the experts because we like to bring you the experts here on TBC. We have with us CNBC's Manisha Gupta on gold's record-breaking run and how you can invest your money. We're just a few hours away from the start of Dhanteras.
Believe me, if Donald Trump is president again, at some point or another, that ugliness will touch all of our lives. And it will not matter what you look like, how you worship, who you love, or how you vote. If you don't make 6 or 8 or 12 figures, if you're not famous, if you criticize or disagree with him in any way, if he doesn't view you as his equal or relevant to his ambitions, I promise you, he will not think about you when he gets into the Oval Office. Let me take a minute to help folks, especially the men in our lives, to get a better sense of what could happen if we keep dismantling parts of our reproductive care system piece by piece, as Trump intends to do. There are good reasons why so many women and physicians are horrified by what's happened since Donald Trump's justices overturned Roe v. Wade. We're seeing women scrambling across state lines to get the care they need. Just this week, a major medical journal reported that after Roe was overturned, infant mortality in this country rose, in large part because women are being forced to carry fetuses that won't survive to term. One woman spent 22 days in jail on murder charges after she miscarried in her own bathroom. So just imagine the profound effects for all of us if Donald Trump wins this election. In states that are already putting abortion bans into effect, his FDA could further outlaw patchwork systems of telehealth appointments and mail-order pills, thereby eliminating the last remaining protections for women in those states. He could take actions that effectively ban abortion nationwide, which would put all of us in danger, no matter what state we live in. We will see more doctors hesitating or shying away from providing life-saving treatments because they are worried about being arrested. Please do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us, against our health, against our worth. It is reasonable to be frustrated.
Welcome back. It's time now for your new Money Matra. Take a look. All right, now on the Breakfast Club, we're going to tell you how you can invest your money. As we speak, tomorrow is Dhanteras, and how you can invest in gold and in silver is the big question. As we speak, both are seeing their prices surge, and this is amid, remember, continuing stories around global economic fluctuations, big geopolitical tensions, but gold, silver, precious metals, these are emerging as safe havens, the places you can invest in without having to worry too much. We've gone over to the big experts on the CNBC. Manisha Gupta joins us with a comprehensive report on gold's remarkable journey. Take a look.
Well, this year can be called the year of commodities really, because almost everything is trading in the positive right now. But the best of the gains have come in from gold and silver. We are trading at an all-time highs in case of gold. For the international markets, it has been about $2,758 an ounce of an all-time highs. But not just in the dollar terms, the gold also has hit all-time highs in euro, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, Chinese yuan, and a whole host of other currencies. For the Indian markets also, we have seen an all-time highs at around 80,000 rupees a 10 grams. This is for 24 carats, and this is inclusive of GST as well. And not just gold, silver prices are trading at a 12-year highs in the international markets, but we have seen a lakh rupees a kg of a strong psychological mark come true in case of Indian markets here. So you have the precious metals which have outperformed various other asset classes. If you look at the last 12 months, well, if you bought gold last year, same time, you have nearly 39% of gains that you are standing on. And if you bought silver last year, same time, 48% of a return is what you have pocketed in already. It has been one strong rally for precious metals, and there have been various reasons for that. One, you have fiscal instability that has led to safe haven buying in case of gold and silver. Second is you have geopolitical tensions. On one side, Russia, Ukraine, and then you have Gaza, Israel, Iran now getting in. There have been tensions between China, Taiwan, and then US has been making statements. So there's plenty happening, and gold and silver have seen some safe haven buying and appeal within that. The other thing is about de-dollarization as well. Well, there are global central banks buying gold at record speed in last couple of years. That has been supportive. And not just the physical buying, but the paper buying in gold has been very strong as well. So there have been investors which are buying gold in sense of ETFs, gold funds, bonds as well, digital gold, etc. have all found appeal across the world. If you look at the COMEX, that is where the speculative buying happens. Gold longs or gold highs are at a 4-year highs. And then it also is about the rate cuts from the global central bank. So lower the rates, the higher the buying and more the liquidity into the markets. That in turn also has been supportive. If you look at the Indian markets as well, this is the chart that tells you on how the gold prices have moved higher and higher in last many years. So if you bought gold in 2010, it was trading at around 20,000 at that point in time. 2020, gold was at 50,000 per 10 grams, and run up to 2024, you were at 80,000 per 10 grams. So very, very strong run up that we've seen come in for gold prices. Well, the gold outlook going forward, whether it's about Citi or Bank of America, JP Morgan, everybody believes that gold prices can go higher from here as well. Question various people have been asking is that should you be buying gold and silver at these all-time highs? Well, maybe yes, you should be buying it on dips because with the heat that we've seen already come into this place, there could be some space for correction, but buying you should. The second thing is if you are a consumer and you have wedding happening in the house, if you want to gift it to yourself or you want to gift it to somebody else, that demand will just about continue, and there is no timing that really. If you're getting married this year, then you will perhaps go out and buy gold and silver and jewelry and various other forms of it. So well, that demand will continue. The investor demand also seems to be really rising. As I said, one, you should be buying it on dips. Second, if global central banks are buying, perhaps you should be doing that too. Third is because silver has an industrial demand, so this is not about festival buying anymore. Silver is something that is being bought across the year. The best way to buy really is by doing an SIP. That is, you should be allocating some small amount on a monthly basis, yearly basis is how you should be accumulating your gold and silver. Well, various analysts, financial advisors will tell you that perhaps 10 to 20% of your portfolio should have gold, because one, it's a safe haven, and one, you should be diversifying it as well. So commodities, and in that sense, gold does do well for that one as well. And now when you want to buy gold, well, physical is one part of it, but you can also buy gold and silver both in sense of funds, in sense of ETFs, in futures as well, and of course digital. Nowadays you can just pick up your phone and buy gold and silver as short as or as small as for $100 or $500 as well. So there are various ways to be part of the rally that has seen strong run up in this year and promises to continue at least for the next 2 to 3 years as well.
And next, we're going to stay with markets for just a second. We're going to bring you a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro. It's, of course, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's take a look first at markets. Based on GIFT Nifty trading, Indian markets are expected to open higher. On Friday, US Nasdaq closed in positive territory. The overall equity indices, however, closed lower. Asian markets, this is good news though, opening in the green for the entire week. Crude oil prices as we speak are trading low though, as Israel toned down its attack on Iran. Remember, geopolitical tensions always relevant. Gold prices are as we speak trading lower. Let's take you to one sector in particular. Banks are experiencing sluggish deposit growth. Asset quality issues are as we speak a worry too. Loan growth is also expected to slow down. However, earnings of the second largest private bank actually stand out in contrast to the rest. Is this robust performance sustainable amid the largest slower down we're talking about in the banking sector? And most importantly, will this be looked at as an outlier? And can it command a super premium valuation? That's one of the big questions. You can log in to Money Control Pro to find out more about the banking sector and various other actionable insights on the markets. It's the premier destination you're ever going to need on all the investing views and financial insights. It's brought to you, as we said earlier, by Money Control. And with that, Monday's The Breakfast Club comes to an end. We started with everything you can do to plan your wardrobe, reuse old pieces in your wardrobe, your mother's clothes, your sister's clothes, how to do that innovatively. Men, we hope you feel that we gave your wardrobe a recharge too with all of our suggestions. Tomorrow, we're actually looking at something very, very interesting. We are right at the start of Diwali and holiday season. Now is the right time to book any holiday tickets for the next few months. How you can get a jump start on that? What are the secret destinations you don't know about? We'll bring you that and more right here on the show. Goodbye.
At L'Oréal Group.
Believe me, if Donald Trump is president again, at some point or another, that ugliness will touch all of our lives. And it will not matter what you look like, how you worship, who you love, or how you vote. If you don't make 6 or 8 or 12 figures, if you're not famous, if you criticize or disagree with him in any way, if he doesn't view you as his equal or relevant to his ambitions, I promise you, he will not think about you when he gets into the Oval Office. Let me take a minute to help folks, especially the men in our lives, to get a better sense of what could happen if we keep dismantling parts of our reproductive care system piece by piece, as Trump intends to do. There are good reasons why so many women and physicians are horrified by what's happened since Donald Trump's justices overturned Roe v. Wade. We're seeing women scrambling across state lines to get the care they need. Just this week, a major medical journal reported that after Roe was overturned, infant mortality in this country rose, in large part because women are being forced to carry fetuses that won't survive to term. One woman spent 22 days in jail on murder charges after she miscarried in her own bathroom. So just imagine the profound effects for all of us if Donald Trump wins this election. In states that are already putting abortion bans into effect, his FDA could further outlaw patchwork systems of telehealth appointments and mail-order pills, thereby eliminating the last remaining protections for women in those states. He could take actions that effectively ban abortion nationwide, which would put all of us in danger, no matter what state we live in. We will see more doctors hesitating or shying away from providing life-saving treatments because they are worried about being arrested. Please do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us, against our health, against our worth. It is reasonable to be frustrated. We all.
Hello and a very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching the morning news show on CNN News 18 and I'm Sakshi Singh Litoria. Over the next 60 minutes, I'll be walking you through the top headlines from the nation and across the globe. At the top of this segment, some breaking news now coming in straight from Jammu and Kashmir. We are learning that suspected terrorists have fired upon a vehicle of Indian Army in Jogwan area of Akhnur. They have fired upon this army vehicle early today morning itself. The joint forces have now launched a massive search operation in that particular area. Since it's a developing story, we'll bring you more details with regards to that. We have CNN News 18's Tejinder Singh Sodi joining us on the broadcast. Tejinder, a very good morning to you. Please walk us through more details with regards to this particular attack. Did anyone get hurt?
No, so far no soldier has been hurt, but this incident was reported at around 7:25 a.m. when 3 to 4 terrorists, they fired upon an army vehicle at the Batal village in Jogwan area of Akhnur, which is in the Khor sector. And after that, the entire area has been cordoned off by the security forces. We don't have any reports of anybody being injured in this incident. But yes, the entire area has been cordoned off. Additional forces have been rushed to the area. There are inputs that this could be a group of terrorists who had freshly infiltrated into the Indian side and they are tasked to carry out attack on security forces. You see, just a couple of days ago, there was a similar kind of attack on an army vehicle in the Gulmarg area, in which 2 army jawans were killed in action and 2 porters working with the army were also killed. After that, an operation is still underway in the Gulmarg area, and now this incident happening in Jammu, where in Jammu's Akhnur tehsil, this incident has happened. So the entire area has been cordoned off by the security forces, and the manhunt is on to identify and eliminate the terrorists involved in this terror attack on the army vehicle. Yes.
Right, Tejinder. Also, I know it's going to be too early to speak about this particular attack because the operation currently is underway in this one. But if we were to connect it with what happened in Gulmarg, are we drawing any sort of parallel or are we sensing any sort of pattern being repeated this time around?
Yes, you see, this pattern of targeting the army vehicles has been going on for quite some time, especially in the Jammu region. In the past, we have seen a similar kind of attacks on army vehicles in Jammu, wherein, if you remember, just 1 year ago, there was an attack on army vehicle in Poonch, in which 5 soldiers who they were killed in action. And again, there was a similar kind of attack which happened in Gulmarg, and today's attack on army vehicles. So clearly, the terrorists they have changed their strategy. Earlier, they used to target the army camps, but now they are targeting the moving vehicles of the security forces, sensing very well that they could carry an ambush, target the security forces vehicles, and then they can easily escape from the area. We have also been reporting how these terrorists, they have acquired the rocket launchers, which they are also planning to use to target the security forces convoy. But yes, this is a matter of concern for the security forces, but hopefully the security forces would devise a strategy so as to make sure that these attacks don't happen in future, and the terrorists involved in these kind of attacks are identified and eliminated. Yes.
Right, Tejinder, thank you so much for all of those details. We will keep coming back to you for more inputs on that story. Right now, we are staying with Jammu and Kashmir, bringing another breaking news to our viewers. This is CNN News 18's mega exclusive. We are learning that Zimor tunnels attackers have now been identified. In fact, the attack was done by Pakistani terrorists with the help of a local. Top intel sources have informed CNN News 18 that 2 attackers of Zimor tunnels identified by the agencies, and this is Junaid Ahmed Kulgam. He is the resident of Kulgam. In fact, he is active since July 2023 for TRF, and a terrorist outfit is what we are picking up. In fact, he is also identified by the locals of his native village Second is Usman. Usman is a foreign terrorist and infiltrated earlier in February. According to sources, he infiltrated from Gurez sector. In fact, we have CNN News 18's Ishan Wani joining us on the broadcast. Ishan, first up, more details with regards to Zemorf attack. What exactly